Hello everyone, Vanguard of Valor here, and welcome. Today we're playing something that we've played in the past, in fact, playing a little bit of Invisible Ink. Now the big deal here is that Invisible Ink was recently released, so we're now playing the release version of the game, rather than the early access version you were playing earlier, and they've changed a few things about it, added a couple more things, and just made the whole experience really nice and polished. So we're going to jump right into this thing and see what's what. Hop into a new game here. We'll be playing here on Expert difficulty. There are a lot of really custom, interesting difficulties you can play on. You can play on Endless mode, you can play on Time Attack mode, and you can see what all the settings for them are. They all have customizable settings that you can choose, and of course you can make an entirely custom one if you'd like. We're going to be playing, however, on Expert mode, which limits your beneficial abilities, like the ability to rewind turns if things go wrong, to only one per mission, and generally makes the game a lot more difficult as well. So we're going to be starting on this difficulty because that is the one that is intended, and we'll see if we can handle it. So let's start the game and see what's what.
Get to the main server, collect the data, and get out. No detours.
Copy that, Central.
Proceeding to target. Insertion was clean. Alarm level holding steady. We need to get to the third floor. We can make our way to the server room from there.
Any chatter on the comms?
Negative. It's silent on all frequencies.
They should have detected us by now.
Receiving priority wireless transmission.
They're onto you. Get out. Get out of there!
HQ compromised. We're going to need an extraction. I've got Incognita. Deckard and International are on their way.
Get to the roof. I'll cover you. Go!
Decker, how long till extraction?
30 seconds.
Get us out of here. We've got work to do.
Alright, first of all, can I just say that was awesome? I love that intro. It looks really cool, the style is really nice, it does a good job of explaining the concept of the game. It's just like a really, really well-made intro. I love it. And now it's time for us to choose our starting setup here. And I think we know what we're going to do. We're not going to click on everybody, because every time we click on one of them, Central talks about them for a bit, and that's not bad, but it is time-consuming. So we're just going to pick the team that we're going to be using.
Most people find Sharp off-putting because of his cybernetic enhancements. I find him off-putting because he's a sociopath with almost no regard for human life. I shudder to think what he's capable of. And I say this as a person who spends most of her time interfacing with a disembodied artificial intelligence.
Alright, so our starting team is going to be Sharp and International. Sharp, or Alex Sharp McTeague. It's arguable whether or not the human being born as Alex McTeague still exists. Driven by an obsession with perfecting his form, he's replaced most of his parts with a mechanical or vat-grown replacement. Originally funding his transhumanism through corporate bounty hunting, he joined Invisible when his augmentation ambitions grew beyond what's available on the open market. And Maria Internacional Valdez. An ex-airborne scout in the Free Cuban Army, Valdez went underground after the re-annexation of Havana. Several years of freelance action against corporate interests led to a considerable bounty on her head, and she joined Invisible for the chance to pay it off. Her tactical prowess is legendary, but her conscience can be a liability on and off the field. Now these two people are pretty interesting. They have a variety of abilities to begin with. Sharp here starts with 6 augment slots instead of 2, which is an unusual one, and every time he hits 3 or 6, his melee weapons knock out enemies for 1 extra turn, which is pretty cool, or at least I believe that's what that does. He also starts out with a normal disruptor, which is a basically standard taser, and this gives people a knockout for 2 turns of unconsciousness on a 3-turn cooldown. And Internationale has the same weapon, but her ability is interesting as well. It allows her to hack items from a distance through walls, so she doesn't have to be directly next to them, unlike everybody else. And she also automatically reveals nearby mainframe objects, which is pretty cool. It allows her to know where things are without actually having to look, which could be pretty useful. As far as stats go, both Sharp and Internationale start off with a bonus point in hacking, so they'll gain extra power from hacked consoles, which is good. And we'll have an archive version of Internationale available if we want it, but we don't really want it. This ability is an unusual one. It generates power whenever the alarm increases, but we don't really want to be relying on that, so we're just going to be using her excellent wireless emitter ability. In addition to that, I still like Decker and Banks. I think they're still my favorite duo, but I'm experimenting with other heroes just to see how it works out. And we're going to be running with a couple interesting little power options here. We have Power Drip, which generates 1 power point per turn. Or you can get Fusion, which generates 3 power per turn for 4 turns, but costs 5 power to do, which is an unusual one. And we also have Seed, which means the first program each turn costs 4 less power to run. Doesn't actually generate more power though, which is the unusual thing. Either way, we are going to start off today with the fusion power, one I've never tried before but looks interesting. And as far as actually breaking firewalls down, we have Lockpick, Parasite, which breaks a firewall at the end of each turn. It costs more depending on how many you have, but starts off with 0 cost. We also have Rapier here, which breaks firewalls but gets more expensive every time the alarm level increases. We're just going to go with the basic Lockpick for now though. So let's begin this sucker. Hopefully we can deal with whatever the corporations have to throw at us. It's 2074, and corporations rule the world with brutal efficiency. They hit us hard, and now we're on the run. We need to strike back, but we'll never win by force. Keeping our agents alive with stealth and cunning, we'll have to raid the core facilities for tools and support, and prepare our team for the final showdown. The odds are stacked against us. We will fail, repeatedly. But each time we will learn more about our adversaries, and every restart generates a new world full of dangers and opportunities. We have a tough job ahead of us. Let's not let them down.
Operator, are you there? Good. I was afraid you didn't make it out. Headquarters is gone. Most of our agents have been captured or killed, and our accounts all frozen. I don't know how the corporations found us, but you can bet they won't give up now that they've had a taste of blood. The Jet's stealth rig should keep us hidden if we keep moving, but Incognita can't survive long on backup power. She's got 72 hours, tops. We need to mount a counterattack before then, or we'll be defenseless against their scans. If that happens, we may as well just crash this thing into the ocean. You've never seen the inside of a corporate deprogramming chamber. I won't see the inside of another. Incognita is scanning for targets of opportunity where we can replenish our supplies. Follow her leads and gather what resources you can. I'll run through our contacts and see what favors I can call in. We're going to need all of the advantages we can find in the coming days.
We will indeed. This page actually has some funny stuff on it. You can see incoming transmission written over here, clearance, central, but there's also hello extra text here. Don't know if that was left on purpose or not. Anyway, here's the team we've just chosen. Let's get to business. There's our first mission, the FTM Executive Terminals. It's 12 hours away, which sucks, but so be it.
Security, and their terminals are full of interesting information. We found a lightly guarded executive complex here. Get in, find the computer, and steal their contact list. Then we'll have our pick of future targets.
Alright, so this is a pretty straightforward mission. We are basically coming in here in order to get ourselves missions, because there's nothing on the map yet. So by stealing this corporate directory, we'll get a whole bunch of new missions, and it should be fine. This is a low security place, and the company that it's working with specifically has advanced surveillance and scanning technology. Interesting. Probably won't matter much on one difficulty, though. Here we are at the FTM Executive Terminals. Let's do this thing.
Destination log acquired. Coordinate threshold 99.9%.
Let's go.
Bad news, operator. They caught us completely by surprise, so we have no firepower with us. The guards' weapons are gene-coded to their owner and useless to us. We're going to have to make do with what we can find along the way. We've beamed you through the security grid. You should be somewhere near the target, but you'll need to look for it. Get the list and find a transport pad to escape. But be quick about it. They noticed a disturbance when we ported in, and their alarm level is already rising.
Alright, so we now teleport in and out instead of taking the elevator and breaking in normally. We are going to need to try and look around though, because this door is already locked, so it's going to be hard for us to go anywhere otherwise. Let's head over to this wall here. In this game, there's a bunch of things you can do. We can, of course, rotate the map around with Q and E. We can hold Alt to activate Tactical View, which shows us what's terrain, what's doors, people, where people can see, interactable objects, all those kinds of things. And we can hit Spacebar to enter Incognita, which allows us to use our abilities. We're going to use Fusion here to start generating power. Costs 5, but we'll start generating power now for 4 turns. And we'll have the ability to break firewalls when we find them. We have some more abilities on screen here, more important things. We can see that we have action points. Every time you do something, it costs action points, which is why moving over here costs us 6, and my Internationale still has 8 because she hasn't done anything yet. Once you're out of action points, you can't move anymore unless you have something that replenishes them. We can see a bunch of other important things. Each character has their augments and their inventory here. They also have the actions they can take. If they have a ranged weapon, they can take an Overwatch. They'll shoot at enemies they see. If they have a melee weapon, they can ambush, meleeing enemies they see. They can also peek around corners, and they can sprint at the start of their turn to move faster, which is noisy, but lets them move further if they need to. Similarly for Internationale, we have the same setup, except she only has 2 augment slots. However, you notice she can hack this machine now. This was not originally available because for Sharp, he has to be right next to the computer to hack it. With Internationale, you can hijack wirelessly, which is pretty cool. Now, we do want to take a look at these doors, so we're going to head over to them. Even though they're locked, oh look at that, there's another console right there I can steal from. Even though they're locked, we can peek through these doors to see what is going on the other side. Looks like we found ourselves a console and a camera. Now this is a good opportunity for us to test our hacking abilities. By switching into Incognita, we can select our lockpick ability here, and use it to break down the firewall on the camera here. That gives us camera control, and means that the camera won't detect us if we walk into range. So now we can know what's in this room, which will be helpful for later in case guards start moving through here or other things go on. Move Internationale by the door here, and she's discovered more interesting things. The camera database will give us the location of all the cameras in the area. But what we're going to do is we're just going to steal some more power from this console using her ability to wirelessly hijack, which is very useful. Sharp is also going to peek through this door where he found a camera as well, which is good because if we opened it, it probably would have immediately seen him. Possibly not, depending on where the cover in the room is, but there's a good chance that this room is detected. So we're going to use our lockpick again to hack this, and now we can see into this room. Perfect. We're not going to open the door yet, though, because nobody has any actions left, so it'd be very silly to expose ourselves potentially to enemies when we have no opportunity to react. So we're just going to end our turn here. And now this has changed, you'll notice. The security level has gone up by 1, or at least by 1 bar. Every turn, the security level increases, and as it eventually hits the full circle, the level goes up, and that means that new issues appear for us to deal with, like more cameras being activated, more guards being added, patrol paths changing, all those kinds of things. Makes it harder to deal with. Either way, Sharp, open her up, and you're going to come check this door for me. What's in this room? Well, we don't see much, because our peeking only gives us this kind of conal vision, but if we open the door and peek again, it gives us more of the room. Still doesn't look super promising, though. I'm going to have to investigate in case there's something on this wall, but I have a feeling there's nothing of value in here. Look at all these consoles! The generosity of this stage is pretty outrageous. I won't mind stealing that power, thank you very much. Let's take a peek. There's a camera here that's currently deactivated. That will come live when the first tier is completed, when more surveillance cameras activate. But for now, I'm not worried. But we're just going to end our turn here. It's looking good so far. Sharp has to take a peek around this corner. Looks like there's nothing of relevance in this room, which is fine. So I'm going to bring him back over this way towards where Internationale is. But Internationale is busy. She's got places to go. We're going to send her over by this door. Ooh, a safe. That's always interesting. Finding safes means we can get loot or money, so we're going to hack that open so we can get in there later. That's a nice thing about Internationale's ability, is that you can see these things that are hackable before actually being able to access the area. Now we're going to end our turn again. There's going to be guards around here somewhere, we just haven't found them yet. So Internationale, take a peek in here. It's a very small room, looks like it's just full of treasure, which is fine by me. So we're going to come in here and grab the loot. 120 credits, alright, that'll have to do. And we're going to stand you right in front of the door here, because there's nobody in this area who can detect us anyway. We're going to send Sharp over to here, so hopefully he'll be able to investigate the door and to start a next turn, and we'll deal with what we find there. Alright, security level's increasing again. We've maxed out our power, but we can reactivate fusion. Let's get Sharp to investigate this room. We know there's nothing in here, because we can see in, but that doesn't mean it pays to be reckless. Get him into position near the door there, so we're ready to go for next turn, and we're going to maybe sprint Banks, because literally nothing is here to be aggressive against us, and we probably don't want to be in this room when everything goes wrong. I'm going to leave this power here right now, because we're going to cap out on power otherwise, and we can always hack it later if we find things to hack in these rooms. So let's end our turn. Now currently we're leaving all the doors open behind ourselves. That's not necessarily a good idea. I think I'm going to hack this anyway. Just for the fun of it. But generally you don't want to leave all of the doors. Ooh,
It still has a
hello.
solitaire game up on the screen.
Oh good. Everyone loves solitaire. Alright, so we can't see in here, but we do know there's a guard in there. We are going to open this door, investigate more fully. Alright, looks like there's nothing actually hidden in there. We'll head in there next turn, most likely, to try and gain access to that console, because we need to steal from this console to be able to make any other progress here. There's more doors in this area. We do have our first guard over here, though. I think we're going to watch this guy. We can observe the guard's movement to predict what he's doing. He's a stationary guard, so we can actually do this to get a better view of what's going on here. If he's stationary, he shouldn't turn around, but we're going to wait one turn just to see what happens. Somebody's moving. Hello there, sir. Alright, well, we've run into some guards now. Things are getting real all of a sudden. That's fair, though. We're going to sneak right around behind this guy, because thankfully he is completely deaf. More guards. That's always pleasant. There's a couple more issues here. We have another safe we can break into to potentially get some loot, but this guy is standing in a laser wall. We can get around it on this side or on this side, but this, if he moves out of the way, will then activate and prevent us from passing through. There's also the issue of this here. This is an elevator here where enemies will spawn in as the mission progresses. I'm tempted to run in here, though, and knock this guy unconscious, because he is going to give us a hard time if we're trying to get this encrypted data. So I think we're going to take him out. Through the door. Close the door behind us. Run up behind this guy. Look at all those lovely wireless signals. Alright, well, let's hack some things. Now that should turn the laser wall off. Yes, it does. Excellent. Even though we can't get in there because it's locked, we'll be able to in a minute, so that's fine, because we're going to knock this guy unconscious. Good night, sir. He's only unconscious for 2 turns, though, which is potentially a problem. Let's steal his valuables, get his credit chip and his pass card, and we are going to hack the power out of this computer as well. Now we have what we need to get through this door, but we still need to get the encrypted data, so that's not going to work too well for us. We're going to pick this guy up, though, and we'll end our turn like that. Now, it's probably not a good idea to try and rush in here. It's probably going to end very poorly for us, but we can run in and knock this guy unconscious, and that way we'll have access to this area. But the problem with that is, then, that if he does... He's stationary as well. Okay. There's a nanofabricator, which is effectively a shop. We can't peek right now. Oh, we can peek right now. Interesting. This is a dangerous place to be hiding sharp, though. Things could easily go pretty wrong from here, so you have to be very careful how we continue this. Thing is, we found our objective, but we still haven't found the exit. Until we find the exit, it's not really safe, so we're going to have to be very careful. Thankfully, you notice how this guy has a 2-turn timer. As it says, the countdown is paused while the unit is pinned. If you have somebody on top of them, it doesn't matter. Let's capture the Executive Agency terminal. There we go, grab that site list.
You've got it. Great.
Excellent.
When you activated that terminal, it sent out an automated message to change up the guard duty. Be prepared for new patrol patterns.
That could be bad, couldn't it? If these guys are looking over to investigate this area, we could be in a bit of trouble. So, we're going to need to move pretty darn fast here. Unfortunately, I don't think I can actually drag this body any further. No, he's too heavy. So, we're going to have to deal with this then. What we're probably going to wind up doing is taking this chest and knocking this guy unconscious. So close the door behind us with Sharp here. Investigate here. What's inside? Just some money. Alright. We're going to zoom over this way and stun this friend. Now, knocking out guards isn't necessarily a safe thing to be doing, because it means that they are going to be getting up later, and then they're going to be mad, but it does make you slightly better protected against things like this happening. Now, I think I can drag him one tile. Unfortunately, I can't drag him too well into cover, but I'm going to drag him over to here so that if we need to, we can run out this way. We've also discovered another firewall to break here. Another delicious corporate safe. Excellent. I might hack the nanofabricator, but I also might not. That'll allow us to buy some more gear, but I'm not sure if I necessarily want to grab any new gear right now. This guy's probably going to start moving, though. Yes, he is. He, however, has no idea where we are, so he's just patrolling around the facility looking for us in the hopes that he'll find something. Our fusion is done, so we're going to reactivate that to generate more power. International, it's time for you to bust open this door. Unlock it. Take a peek inside, open her up, head on through and loot the safe. Alright, there's a bunch of doors here. Let's move up to this space here so we can see what's through this room. Next turn, anyway. This guy will be getting back up, though, which could be a problem. We'll have to deal with him. Now, I'd love to go investigate further, because I think we have to. What is this? Ooh, a secondary server terminal. These are good, as is this heavy-duty corporate safe. These allow us to purchase new incognita programs. So we're going to hack this open, and we're going to hack this open as well, because these will be very useful to us, although it looks like this is nowhere where we actually need to be. So we've come a long way to get here, but we're actually in the wrong part of the map, which is going to be dangerous once things start to go sour soon. So, let's end our turn and see what happens. This guy is still hunting around for us. He's got no idea where we are. That's fine. Alright, let's grab some incognita programs. From here we can buy Wrench 5. Only breaks firewalls exactly equal to 5 strength. Or Leash. Control drones for an extra turn. Unfortunately, neither of those are really anything that I want to have. Wrench 5 might not be a terrible thing, since it lets you break 5 strength firewalls, which are really nasty, but it's useless for anything else. I think we'll leave it for now, sadly. We're going to hop over here and investigate this. 290 credits, very nice, but still just money. We're also going to hack this firewall quickly, because this is going to become hostile soon. The second security level, all the firewalls you have not yet hacked go up in difficulty by 1. So if you're not on the ball there, things can get out of hand quickly. There's another camera. Looks like there's nothing else in this room, though. Oh, there's another door on that side. That's unfortunate. Did find another camera, though, so we'll hack that as well. Gets us a little bit of visibility into the room. Let's take a peek now. There's the exit. Okay. So we know where the exit is now. Unfortunately, this guy may be coming to get us since I left all these doors open, which was very silly of me. We'll see what happens, though, and we end the turn. Alright, all firewalls have gone up in strength. This guard is now awake. They both are, in fact. Fusion generates us a bit more power. We're currently at almost 0 power, which is not healthy, but so it is. Let's take a peek around the corner. Alright, he's not looking at us, which means we in theory could run over here, but I don't know what he's going to do yet. We're going to interact with the nanofabricator since we haven't spent any of our money. Here we can buy a riot dart, which is a knockout range weapon, which is pretty sweet, but we also have predictive brawling here. This means that when you knock out an enemy with a melee attack, you gain 6 action points. That can be a really good augment for somebody who needs to hit people and get moving, so we might grab that. It does cost almost... costs less than a quarter of our money. It's actually really nice. A lock decoder allows us to disable locks over 2 turns, which is not terrible, but not amazing either. I think we're going to grab predictive brawling, though. For somebody who's all about those augments, let's give him some augments. We could also buy a riot dart. It does have limited ammo, though, and unless we find charge packs to regenerate it, it's going to be eliminated once it's full. I think we're going to hold off on buying that yet. You know what? Why not go crazy? We'll buy the dart gun. Alright, and we're going to hide here for a minute. Now we have the ability to shoot this guy to knock him out. We don't actually want to do that. Where's he going to go? He's hunting around this location. Okay. Well, we'll deal then. So, we need to get into a better secure location here. Let's just quickly close this door behind us. Then come on this side of this door. Close this door behind us. Thankfully, this camera still gives us some visibility so we know if he's coming. And we're going to set International to ambush anybody who comes through this door. That way she'll automatically knock them unconscious. Let's end our turn and see if we can get out of here alive.
Looking around. We're investigating the scene.
Okay. Now this guy should be looking the wrong way, so we should be able to get past him with minimal difficulty. Because if we take a little peek here, yeah, he's looking the wrong way. So we're going to run through to here, close this door, set up an ambush in case we need to, and we're going to keep running. Now, we do want to check this room if we get the chance, but right now our priority is to get out alive. So we're going to end the turn, and see what this guard does. Hopefully he doesn't come through this door. That's what I hoped he wouldn't do, but thankfully he's looking the wrong way. So it's actually entirely fine. And we're going to take advantage of this guy being here to get a bunch of extra movement. I'm sorry, guard, you don't deserve this, but we're going to knock you unconscious again. Thankfully, the Neural Disruptor regenerates after 3 turns, so it's ready to use again, and now we can move really far, which is really good for us getting out of here in a hurry. So we're going to move over to here, grab the power from this computer. Not that I think it's going to matter, because every mission you restart, or rather you start in, you get 10 fresh power, but it's still good to be on the safe side of things. I think the guard went in here, so I'm actually going to stop here for a turn. I think the other guy went over this way, so we should be safe from him for a while. And we're just going to end our turn here, which is much further than we otherwise would have been able to get. Hello, guard. Yes, that is a problem. This is indeed a problem. Where is he going to go? He wants to go that way. Alright, so what we're going to do then is we're going to come hide behind this piece of debris here. He shouldn't be able to see us, he should go right past us. I have a key, so I could unlock this security door, but there's no reason for us to go back in there now. We need to get over to this side. Alright, let's bring International back, because I don't think the guy's coming to get her after all. He's gone back over this way now. So we're going to bring her back over to maybe check this room, or help support, if we need to, with Sharp. Let's end the turn and see what happens. Exactly according to plan. He completely missed us. Excellent. So we should be able to sneak past. This guy's woken up again, but we'll deal. With this agent now, we should be able to get all the way through into here, which should be in pretty effective cover. So anything bad is unlikely to happen. This room actually looks really small, so I don't think there's anything of relevance in there. We're just going to leave International nearby so she can support if need be. Alright, let's end the turn.
We're having a look around here.
They
Investigating.
have no idea where we are. Alright, there's an extra guard patrol coming into the elevator. That's fine, though. That's fine indeed. We should be able to get out of here, no problem. So let's take you, International, and just double check this room is in fact empty. It should be, since your senses haven't detected anything. Yep. And let's sprint sharp all the way over to here. It does make more noise, but since there's nobody nearby to hear it, it doesn't matter so much. International comes back through and closes the door behind her, so we're safe now. And next turn we should be home and free to do what we please. Okay. Let's get out of here. Sharp. Get yourself in the teleporter. International into the teleporter. And let's get out of here. Exit level.
Excellent work, operator. Now to sift through the data and find the juiciest targets.
Indeed. Hacked almost all the things. And we spent almost every little piece of money that we acquired. We have 70 credits left, as far as I can tell. Lovely. Alright, well, let's continue then. And here we have it. 70 credits to spend. That will be difficult to spend because there's nothing that's that cheap. But that's fine. We'll upgrade our heroes later. But we can see what the upgrades actually do here. We can see that speed gives you just more movement. Hacking gives you more power per console hijack, which is a good ability as well. Strength lets you carry more items, but also increases the drag speed, and when maxed out, adds 1 KO damage to melee weapons. Anarchy gives you the ability to steal from knocked out guards, steal from behind them when they're still awake, stealing more money, and stealing better items once it's maxed out. But those are our 4 primary upgradable abilities if we choose to invest in them. For now, though, since we don't really have anything to invest, we are going to head back to Mission Select.
I've re-established contact with Monster. His network picked up the attack just before it hit us, and we're working to trace it back to the source. In the meantime, he's offered to sell us some of his more rarefied stock.
Greetings. I don't often perform transactions face-to-face, but Gladstone is an old friend. I'll contact you when anything becomes available.
Thank you, Monster. If we find their central server, we may be able to bring them down, or at least distract them long enough that they lose our trail. Continue scavenging operations, and I'll keep you posted as more intel develops.
Alright. New missions. Potential new agent over here. Server farms over here for new tech pieces. And a security dispatch. Interesting. All kinds of new missions have made themselves available to us. They're all pretty high security, though. They're all security level 2 already. Either way, thank you very much for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor, playing some Invisible Ink here for you today. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Thank you again very much for checking it out, and look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, bye-bye. Hello everyone, Vanguard of Valor here, and welcome. Today we're playing something that we've played in the past, in fact, playing a little bit of Invisible Ink. Now the big deal here is that Invisible Ink was recently released, so we're now playing the release version of the game rather than the early access version we were playing earlier, and they've changed a few things about it, added a couple more things, and just made the whole experience really nice and polished. So we're going to jump right into this thing and see what's what. Hop into a new game here. We'll be playing here on Expert difficulty. There are a lot of really custom, interesting difficulties you can play on. You can play on Endless mode, you can play on Time Attack mode, and you can see what all the settings for them are. They all have customizable settings that you can choose, and of course you can make an entirely custom one if you'd like. We're going to be playing, however, on Expert mode, which limits your beneficial abilities, like the ability to rewind turns if things go wrong, to only 1 per mission, and generally makes the game a lot more difficult as well. So we're going to be starting on this difficulty because that is the one that is intended, and we'll see if we can handle it. So let's start the game and see what's what.
Get to the main server, collect the data, and get out. No detours.
Copy that, Central. Proceeding to target. Insertion was clean. Alarm level holding steady. We need to get to the 3rd floor. We can make our way to the server room from there.
Any chatter on the comms?
Negative. It's silent on all frequencies.
They should have detected us by now.
Receiving priority 1 transmission.
They're onto you. Get out. Get out of there!
It's really nice. It does a good job of explaining the concept of the game. It's just like a really, really well-made intro. I love it. And now it's time for us to choose our starting setup here. And I think we know what we're going to do. We're not going to click on everybody, because every time we click on one of them, Central talks about them for a bit, and that's not bad, but it is time-consuming. So we're just going to pick the team that we're going to be using.
Most people find Sharp off-putting because of his cybernetic enhancements. I find him off-putting because he's a sociopath with almost no regard for human life. I shudder to think what he's capable of, and I say this as a person who spends most of her time interfacing with a disembodied artificial intelligence.
Alright, so our starting team is going to be Sharp and International. Sharp, or Alex Sharp McTeague. It's arguable whether or not the human being born as Alex McTeague still exists. Driven by an obsession with perfecting his form, he's replaced most of his parts with a mechanical or vat-grown replacement. Originally funding his transhumanism through corporate bounty hunting, he joined Invisible when his augmentation ambitions grew beyond what's available on the open market. And Maria Internacional Valdez. An ex-airborne scout in the Free Cuban Army, Valdez went underground after the reannexation of Havana. Several years of freelance action against corporate interests.
Compromised. We're going to need an extraction. I've got Incognita. Deckard and International are on their way.
Get to the roof. I'll cover you.
Decker, how long till extraction?
30 seconds.
Get us out of here. We've got work to do.
Alright, first of all, can I just say that was awesome? I love that intro. It looks really cool. The style has led to a considerable bounty on her head, and she joined Invisible for the chance to pay it off. Her tactical prowess is legendary, but her conscience can be a liability on and off the field. Now these two people are pretty interesting. They have a variety of abilities to begin with. Sharp here starts with 6 augment slots instead of 2, which is an unusual one, and every time he hits 3 or 6, his melee weapons knock out enemies for 1 extra turn, which is pretty cool, or at least I believe that's what that does. He also starts out with a Neural Disruptor, which is a basically standard taser, and this gives people a knockout for 2 turns of unconsciousness on a 3-turn cooldown. And International has the same weapon, but her ability is interesting as well. It allows her to hack items from a distance through walls, so she doesn't have to be directly next to them, unlike everybody else. And she also automatically reveals nearby mainframe objects, which is pretty cool. It allows her to know where things are without actually having to look, which could be pretty useful. As far as stats go, both Sharp and International start off with a bonus point in hacking, so they'll gain extra power from hacked consoles, which is good. And we'll have an archive version of International available if we want it, but we don't really want it this ability is an unusual one. It generates power whenever the